Today, we are summarising the debate around ultra-processed foods. This is Health Summarised. I'm sure by now you've seen the countless articles on your timeline about ultra-processed food. Some headlines scream that the next incarnation of Satan himself, and others such as The Guardian and the New York Times already offering counter-arguments to the hysteria. So what's the real story? Well, as always, the truth lies somewhere in the middle. So what are ultra-processed foods, first of all? Well, ultra-processed foods, or UPFs, are heavily altered from their original state. They're packed with additives and often designed for maximum convenience. So if the ingredients list includes things that you wouldn't find in your kitchen cupboard, the chances are it's ultra-processed. A practical way to identify them is to check for ingredients like high fructose corn syrup, hydrogenated oils, flavours, emulsifiers, and things rarely used in home cooking. Think of the bread in your kitchen. If you've been down to the shop and bought it at, say, Aldi, it likely contains extra ingredients you wouldn't use at home. These additions are everywhere. They're in your lemon juice, they're in your cereal. Basically, if you pick up anything, there's a good chance it will have some sort of additive in there if it's a ready-made full product rather than something you've cooked yourself. So that's what UPFs are, but what are they not? It's important to remember that something can be processed without being ultra-processed. For instance, cheese goes through a process involving the fermentation of milk. This does not make it ultra-processed, unless it's then processed again, combined with additives and artificial flavourings, and forms some sort of cheese in a can-like substance. Not all unhealthy foods are UPFs. We may think of a burger as being unhealthy and bad for our health, and they can be. But a burger can also be 100% beef with a bit of salt and pepper in a simple bun. Say with a pizza, be just sauce, cheese, natural dough. That doesn't mean you should ditch cereal for daily pizza. Balance is key, and of course a totally UPF-free diet is unlikely to be realistic for most of us. So what does the science say? Well, there's strong evidence linking UPFs with health concerns. Studies have consistently shown that they are associated with worse heart health, metabolic issues, and even higher disease risks. In 2020, a study in the British Journal of Nutrition concluded that increased UPF consumption was associated with a higher risk of cardiovascular disease, depression, and all-cause mortality. In 2021, another study, this time published in the Nutrients Journal, showed that UPF intake was correlated with an increase in free sugars, total fats, and saturated fats, as well as a decrease in nutrients important for health, including fibre, protein, and key vitamins and minerals. In fact, a 2020 meta-analysis, also published in the Nutrients Journal, concluded that not a single study reported an association between UPFs and beneficial health outcomes. This was confirmed again by a 2024 meta-analysis, which was published in the British Medical Journal. However, there is still one question that we don't have the answer to. We don't know if it's the processing itself that is the issue, the inclusion of the additives being the reason that they are bad for our health, or is it the fact that the ultra-processed food tends to be low in fibre and nutrients. For example, individuals who eat a lot of white bread may have worse health outcomes, not because white bread has additives, but because the individual is eating white bread instead of something more nutritious. In 2017, a series of reports were produced entitled The Obesity Epidemic: Causes and Consequences. In one of these reports, a team of scientists investigated this issue and found that no studies had meaningfully explored the issue of whether UPFs themselves were bad, or if the adverse health effects were due to a lack of nutrients in the diets of people who typically ate high amounts of ultra-processed food. Equally, studies have shown that children with diets low in nutrition can benefit from ultra-processed foods that are fortified with vitamins, although no benefit was found where children had some level of nutrition in their diet. So this does seem to suggest that eating a diet high in ultra-processed food is bad for us, potentially because it takes out a lot of the nutrients that we would be getting from whole foods. But how strict do we need to be? Well, it's likely to be a matter of balance. As things currently stand, we know that a diet consisting mostly of ultra-processed foods is likely to be bad for your health. If you wake up and eat a sugary cereal for breakfast, have a white bread sandwich for lunch, a microwave meal for dinner, and wash it all down with a fizzy drink, then you should consider incorporating some more whole foods into your diet. As with all things, you probably start small, change your white bread for wholemeal, slightly reduce your cereal portion and throw some fruits and nuts on top. Pay attention to what you're buying at the supermarket and make those incremental changes that will pay off in the long run. In the end, balance is key, and these changes will only work if you can stick to them. Do not feel compelled to give in to all the fear-mongering around UPFs. If you're eating a varied and balanced diet, then there is no need to get hung up on the occasional UPF food. There is no evidence to suggest that the occasional treat will do you any harm in the long run. So here's your health summarised. Ultra-processed foods are foods that contain ingredients you wouldn't ordinarily find in the kitchen, like emulsifiers or preservatives. Studies currently suggest that they are bad for our health, and the more we eat, the higher the risk of dying earlier. However, we do not know if it is the additives themselves that are harmful, or the fact that ultra-processed food typically does not contain vital nutrients. It is recommended that processed food should be swapped for whole food where possible. However, there is no evidence that processed food is harmful in lower quantities, so you can still enjoy the odd microwavable meal or sugary chocolate bar without guilt. It's all about balance. Next time, we'll be summarising the importance of gut health.